Breathe in, breathe out. Is there anything I'm sure about? I've gotta know myself if the world changes. Breathe in, breathe out. There's nothing I can do about anyone or anything but me. Am I too young or old to change? If I don't try, then everything will stay the same. So if I wanted something different for myself, I better make some choices and make them right now. We're gonna be the best random ever. We're gonna be the best random ever. I believe in my team, and I believe in you. So let's drop in and kick some ass like good randos do. Because we're gonna be the best random ever. We're gonna be the best random ever. We're gonna be the best random ever. The best random ever.
Welcome, everybody, to Best Random Ever, episode 10 of Best Random Ever. Best Random Ever, the best random ever. It's me. I'm your host, C2, here on the Trident Network, a three-pronged digital entertainment network that features live shows, film, video content on our YouTube, and a variety of podcasts. It's Frank! What up, Frank? Please go follow the Trident Network on all of our platforms. We got a bunch of cool stuff. We have a lot of cool creators. We have a lot of cool podcasts. Our podcasts are pretty lit. I don't even really like podcasts, but I listen to Trident's podcast. Also, I'm part of Trident, so that's probably why I do it. But we have a bunch of stuff, a bunch of really talented people. I appreciate anybody who subs, appreciate anybody who gives bits. It helps all of our creators, supporting all of our creators on this wonderful, wonderful platform. And that is the Trident Network. I'm C2, a streamer here on Twitch. I stream Apex Legends and other games as well. And that's my channel where I stream now. But today I'm streaming here on the Trident Network, streaming Best Random Ever, the show where we talk about how we can be the best randoms ever. For our randoms, if you play with randoms. And in life. But be the best random you want to see in the world, right? Today's episode is about perspective. This is something I've been thinking about. Oh my god, Kiki Deliver just followed me. Oh my god, it's Kiki. Kiki, who I love, my lady. I'm gonna turn my monitor upside down and watch today's stream to change my perspective. Hey, that's how you do it, Frank. Taking the reins of your own life and doing the dang thing. Kiki, oh my god, I love you so much. We are talking about perspective. I'm at work, but right now, but I miss you. This sounds cool. Yeah, I would talk about like playing with randoms and taking care of your own self. I want to talk about perspective because this is a big thing for me right now. Usually I bring in a theme that I'm personally working on in my life, and I bring it in to relate it back to how I'm playing video games, because I do play video games with strangers all the time. And perspective and being the boss of my own perspective has drastically improved my ability to play with strangers, especially recently since I have been ranking. Work has been so wild. Love you too. Oh, yeah, I bet work has been wild. I'm glad that you're here. I appreciate you coming to say hello to me at work. Perspective. The main thing that I focus on, and the main thing that is true, is that you are in charge of the way that you see something. So you're kind of in charge of how you're experiencing things. Congrats on gold, by the way. Oh, Frank, it was a climb. And the thing about that was too is that like it's really easy for me to get caught up in what I don't have, or what I did not do for some reason. Same. I used to let so much shit get to me with random sub, but now that I've grown, I couldn't care less about them. Yeah, exactly. Like, well, I play muted. I don't listen to them. But, yeah, it's about you control your reactions, you control your emotions. Your reactions to your emotions. Having emotions. You can have your emotions and not react. You can respond the way that you wish to with practice. And that's a really good practice is playing with people you don't know, or just playing games with people, doing things with people in general. Playing games, any game with people in general, interacting with people in general is really good practice. And noticing, the first thing is noticing what you're focused on. So similarly to like, and I thought about it this way, as like perspective is a lot like positioning. You want to get yourself into the best position to succeed in whatever you're trying to do. So like with the same thing, and I believe that the same thing with like games is there's like, you know, get high ground. You want to be, what, like in a BR game, you want to be like you want to be in the circle. You don't want to be in the storm. There's a lot of like things that make things, and it's not right or wrong. It's easy and hard. So like it's harder to fight in the storm, right? So you want to put yourself in a position where you're not really in the storm that much. And if you are in the storm, you can deal with that. Or you want to put yourself in a position where you have high ground. You don't have to, the other people are not taking advantage of you being in low ground, I guess. But you are in charge of that. The game's not gonna tell you that. Like, you should be in high ground right now. Like, you are always in charge of where you're gonna be, and you can fight for wherever you want. Which is the same thing as perspective. Like, you could be focusing on the negative things. Like, I could be focusing on the fact that I lost RP last game, the fact that my random is doing X, Y, and Z, that is taking my energy, and I'm allowed to focus on whatever I want to focus on. But for me, when I'm focusing on things, it's about easy and hard. It's harder, it comes out in the long run to be harder for me to play when I am focusing on how bad my random is being, how bad they're being. And also then when I am focusing on all the things that they are doing wrong, or even that my friends are doing wrong, even if I'm playing with my friends, if I'm focusing on everything that they're doing wrong, I find myself getting very upset. And then I put myself in a position where I'm in a game with bad teammates. And I still do that. I was doing it on stream. I was like, my teammates. But I am in charge of the experience that I have. And so it's so important for me to be cognizant of that while I am actively engaging with other people and while I'm actively engaging with a game, while also keeping in mind that it's a game, and while also keeping in mind that what my main goal is. Because, like, when you think about it, your main goal to be in a game, when you're playing a game, is not, it's not to be pissed off, right? Like, you kind of, like, I've been thinking about it this way most recently, too. It's like, am I doing the thing that I said I was going to do, that I said I wanted to do? Did I say that I wanted to come on this game and be pissed off? Did I say that? Did I get in here and be like, you know what I would really love? To fucking boot up Apex and be so fucking mad that I want to crush my controller so into dust. That's what I said. No, I said I want to get on Apex and have a bunch of fun. I am in charge of that then. I am in charge of keeping that mindset of like, this is a game. I'm having fun. I'm joking around. Because you'll find, and this is my issue currently, which I'm testing, not even testing, which I'm experiencing in ranked, is that I don't say I want to get in the game and have fun. I don't say that in ranked. I say I'm going to get in the game and get RP, which is a mistake for me. Because if I get in the game and I say, let's just go. Let's just get out of here. Let's go for it. Let's just have fun. Whatever. Who cares? Maybe not who cares, because sometimes it's, ranking, you want to care, kind of. But if I treat, that's how I treat pubs, is I'm like, I don't care what happens. I don't care. I have so much fun. And you can treat rank that way too, but it's your decision. I always say, oh, well, the numbers, it's the numbers. I don't want to see the numbers. But a true, how do I want to say this? A true test of your abilities, of your emotional regulation abilities, is not the absence of difficulty. It's not avoiding difficult situations so that you feel better, because at some point you have enough tools where you can go through difficult situations that maybe before you wouldn't have wanted to go through, like ranked. I don't rank a lot because previously I'd avoided difficult situations in favor of not experiencing the emotional difficulty, the difficulty in emotional regulation that I had, but then I miss out on that experience. So if I can't regulate myself while playing ranked, and I don't like how I feel dysregulated, that's not rank's fault. That's not the ranked system's fault. That's my fault. Not fault. My responsibility. We don't want to look for fault, whose fault it is. It's my responsibility to regulate my own emotions. Now, it's perfectly valid if you don't feel like you have the tools to do that. Like, if I don't feel like I have the tools, and I try, I test it. I test it every other season. And I go, all right, I'm going to test it. I'm going to test myself in my regulation abilities and my emotional regulation abilities. I'm going to test myself and see, can I deal with this? And so far, up until Plat, I can. But then we get to Plat, it's a whole other ballgame, because it just gets harder. But sharpening your skills, in whether it's fighting skills, whether it's, whatever skill it is not, the way to sharpen the skill is not to avoid the difficulty. The way to sharpen the skill is to keep sharpening your skill and try it out on things that are kind of hard. Because we can do hard stuff. We just got to figure out how we're going to regulate ourselves through it so that it doesn't feel so fucking terrible when you're doing it and your heart doesn't beat so fast. And something that helps that is knowing, and truly knowing and believing. And you don't even have to believe this, but this is helpful. I guess it's up to you whether you want to believe it or not, is knowing and believing that you are in charge of the way you see something. You are in charge of where you are on the map. You are freely moving about the map, and you are in charge of it. You are in charge of where you go. So if you're having a bad time, oops, fuck that one up. And it's okay to overestimate your abilities, because that's how you learn also. Sometimes you throw yourself into something and you're not ready. Like, you throw yourself into a fight. This happened to me repeatedly yesterday. I was ranking, threw myself, I ran up into a fight, guns a-blazing. My guns, I'm dead. Guns a dead, I'm deceased. Because I got too big for my britches. And I was being too impatient. For whatever reason. And it could be your own reason, and only you know that. But I've been likening perspective much to positioning. So it's helpful for me to understand it in the way, the way you view positioning is helpful in perspective. Although I will say that in order to win, it's not really about winning. It's about having an advantage in a situation that you're in, I guess. In a video game, in Apex, a video game, you want the advantage because the point of it is to win your fight. But understanding also what your point is. So, it's also important to understand that not everything's a fight, right? Like, if you're ranking and you see a fight happening, you can decide whether or not to take it. You don't have to take every fight that you see. Because strategically, that's actually, you got to keep your wits about you, because sometimes that's not the good idea. Sometimes the two people fighting is actually just good that they're fighting and not fighting you, so that you can get into a better position so you can have a better fight later. Which is something that you learn from patience. And thinking about what you can do. and think about what do you want to do? Because some people can take every single fight that they come up against and they fucking win them, and it's great. And look, God bless those people. But also sometimes, even if you could win the fight, it would be strategically not advantageous of you to take the fight because of where the ring is. So it's all about shifting your perspective for any given moment. The same thing with, like, you could think about all the things that you didn't get, all the things that you're not getting in a situation, or you could think about the things that you do have and be grateful for them. So, like, if you spend, and I find this too, like, if I'm spending a game running around looking for something specific, I actually spend less time being present and available to fight in that game because I'm looking for a specific gun, or I'm looking for a specific site, or I'm looking for a specific attachment, instead of just accepting whatever is coming and moving on. For me and my brain, I need to go in making sure I have fun and not take it too seriously. I need to go into almost all situations with the perspective of having a good time and or taking things easy. I almost always have an easygoing attitude that I learned helped me have better experiences than when I was stressed, angry when I was younger. Yes. Yes, Frank? Yes. You're right on it, my dude. It helps me keep a clear mind when shit hits the fan of Apex. Yes. No, I appreciate that, Frank. Yes. And that is honestly, and like, that's the point of being alive, honestly, is to enjoy yourself and to live your life. Existence is just that. You did it. We exist. And the point is to enjoy yourself. And if you're not enjoying yourself, and that's not to say you shouldn't be doing things. You're never going to have to do things that you don't want to do. That's not to say that. But you have a choice. You choose your experience. So you can make even like a shitty thing, if you shift your perspective, you can make even kind of a pain in the ass thing something not that bad. But it depends on how you look at it. Everything has a benefit. Everything has a silver lining, unfortunately. I'm sorry for the the cynical the revolutionary optimist. I learned a term today. It was revolutionary optimist, and I was like, that's me, baby. You can find good in things if you want to, and it's up to you. Suffering is kind of a choice. What's that? Revolutionary optimism is optimism. What did he say it was? The system runs on our hopelessness, our thoughts of hopelessness that we can't change it. But revolutionary optimism knows that all we do is change things all the time. Things don't have to be the way that they are because things weren't even always like this way. The system also runs on your hopelessness. It doesn't only run on your hopelessness is energy that you give to the system. It's still energy that you're giving to the system. When you talk about how much you don't like Jeff Bezos, when you talk about how much you don't like Amazon, but then you keep buying stuff from Amazon, like all that shit, it's all running on it's all energy. The universe does not recognize I don't like that versus I like that. It just recognizes what are you putting all your energy towards. And if you're putting all of your energy towards the apocalypse, this is going to happen, and you don't have any energy left to think about any of the good things, that's the energy that we need. We don't need the energy that goes towards made up fucking this is what's going to happen. Revolutionary optimism is using all of your energy to create these new ideas and these new worlds because we need your energy. What we need is people thinking about stuff that's better. Because everybody's got to do it. If it's going to happen, everybody has to believe it. Clap your hands. And it's not like, because everything was, I like this idea. Yeah. Everything that we experience was a dream before it was real. Everything that you touch, everything that you use was somebody thought about it and talked about it enough and believed that it could exist enough that they made it happen. What? This is insane. These little computers. Insane shit exists because enough people believed that it could. That's just how we work. We're a bunch of fucking meat wizards walking around on a magic rock, digging shit up from the ground. Revolutionary optimism is, I'm not going to use my energy to think about your apocalypse. I'm not doing an apocalypse. Fuck you. I'm going to go learn how to garden and shit. And we're going to figure out a better way, because there are better ways to do stuff. But the system runs on you believing that the system is the end all be all. It was not like this. It has not even been, capitalism hasn't even been a thing for that long in our human history. We did feudalism for a whole ass long time, which is arguably worse. But capitalism is just feudalism junior. We can do a better thing. Systems are created and run by the people who run them. If enough people take their energy away, and this is perspective, this is dreaming, this is believing, because everything, you can look at anything from a weird angle. You ever see a picture of yourself? You ever see a picture of yourself and you're like, God damn it. Why? Why do I look like this? I can't wait for your book to come out. Frank, I love you. Meat wizards walking around on a magic rock. We are meat wizards walking around on a magic rock. And that's what the book's going to be called, Frank. Meat wizards walking around on a magic rock. You said it. You said it. Print it. If you can look at anything from a weird fucking angle and be like, what is that? Like, when you think about perspective, actually, the definition of perspective, it's just the way you look at something. And everything, especially in this 3D reality, has unlimited angles for you to look at it. So you almost, it's hard to even conceive of every angle of something, honestly, because it's like holding every possibility simultaneously almost cancels them all out. So almost everything can be like considered a neutral event if you look at it from a perspective that you choose. But you choose your perspective always. And that's the main concept, is that whatever your perspective, you are responsible for it. So if you're having a bad time, and that's not saying you're not allowed to have a bad time. Sometimes you have a bad time because you agreed to go to the party and now it's a bad party and maybe you shouldn't have agreed to go. Or you didn't get, like, in my experience, the reason that I'm usually having a bad time somewhere is because I did not prepare myself to be in whatever situation that I'm in. So it's a hard lesson for me to learn to prepare. That's really, honestly, what many of my uncomfortable situations are. Or I didn't advocate for myself, and I didn't say, like, and this goes for, like, getting into fights and shit on the internet too, like, in a game too. It's like your person who you're playing with, say your friend wants to push, and I'm using a friend as an example because it's easier than a random. We'll use a random. Cool. No, this is best random ever. We'll use a random. Your random wants to push, and you know that going with them would be easier than not going with them. But you take the perspective that, oh, we're going to lose. We're going to lose this fight. I don't want to support my random, but I do. I support them anyway. And it turns out you win the fight. You can simultaneously hold the possibility of everything happening and not be attached to any one thing. Because if you win the fight, does that actually suck? No, that's kind of cool, right? Like, sometimes you get into a fight, you don't think you're gonna win, you don't think you're gonna, you ever experience, you get into a fight, you don't think you're gonna win, and then you win, and then you're kind of like, oh, I'm a little bit disappointed? Weird. When you allow yourself to hold all of the possibilities for everything to happen and be surprised by what happens, you're not as attached. You don't have to get upset about stuff. In that situation, the random might have seen an opening that you didn't because of their perspective. Thank you, Frank, using the vocabulary word. You're the best? Yes, exactly. Other people and other experiences, other entities, like other people also know stuff that you don't know. You don't know everything. And that's not to say you should ignore your intuition. And this, we're talking about video games in this situation. Like, we're talking about video games in this particular situation. There are situations where you weigh in with your random. You go, let's go over. They go, let's go over here. They go, you go, let's go over here. And they go, you know what? Let's go over there. Let's go over where you said. Or you say, I want to go left. And they say, I want to go right. And then you think about it and you're like, actually, no, let's go left. Being not attached allows you to shift perspective. I'm not attached to winning or losing in pubs. So if I'm not attached to winning or losing in pubs, I should be equally unattached to that in ranked, even though it's a little bit of a different system. Because it's the same game is the thing that I don't remember. And then I get upset. It's the same game. We're playing the same game. It's the same game. Maybe the people are different. Maybe the people I encounter are different. But I realize that I'm using excuses for my emotions all the time in ranked. That's my favorite fucking thing to do, is to be like, these lobbies are hard. I'm bad. My randoms. Blah, blah. When really it's just like, bitch, why don't you just have fun with the game that you like to play? Like, what's the deal? Like, why are you so upset? Why? Because you lost RP? Those are fake numbers. Those are fake fucking numbers, dude. Maybe, and also, maybe you are a gold player. Maybe you're not a plat player right now. Do we want to have that conversation? Maybe you're bad or worse. Maybe you're worse than you thought you were, and you got to practice and get better. Because that's a better use of my time than complaining about how everything around me is bad, even though I'm the one who's in charge of what I see and experience. So I really can't complain. Like, I will complain. I will continue to complain because that is my God-given right as a human being on this earth. But I have to know that underneath anything that I complain about and underneath anything that I experience is my own responsibility for the way that I experience things. Because if I don't know that, then I am at the mercy of everything else. And that sucks. That is worse, surprisingly, than actually being like, okay, I'm in charge. I'm driving the boat. You want to be driving the boat. Don't you want to be? And you want to be driving the boat. I want to drive the boat. I want to decide where I'm positioned in the ring. I want to decide where I'm at. I want to decide where I'm going. I want to decide how I engage. I want to decide that. But in order to be the person who decides that, I have to accept that even when I'm experiencing something uncomfortable, I'm still in charge of the way that I'm experiencing that. That's not to say that you deserve, it's all anything that's ever happened to you is your fault. That's not really, we're not looking, and that's another thing. When you think about it as like whose fault it is, that's a perspective. If you're trying to blame, even thinking whose fault was it, somebody is trying to blame somebody. Which is not conducive to progress, which is not conducive to healing, which is not conducive to getting what you want. If you are spending all your energy thinking about whose fault is it, that's energy that you could have been spending going, okay, now how do I pivot? How do I move from this position that I'm in that I don't like? Because if you're like aiming at someone and you're like, they're behind a rock and it's hard for me to look at them. Move around, engage them, move around. You wouldn't do that, right? You're in a gunfight. They're shooting at you. They've got high ground on you. Are you're just going to stay there in low ground and complain about how they're in high ground? Is that what you're going to do? You can decide to do that. It's going to be a quick fight, though, is the thing about that. It's the same for everything else. If you don't like it, and we are talking about video games. And that's not discounting, systems of oppression and things like that. And whole things that influence us as a society. But in terms of how you are experiencing something and what you choose to do with your energy is always going to be your choice. Because if you'll notice, even though like the system exists and systems of oppression or like systems of whatever exist, we're still all having our unique experience. We're still all having an individual experience, even though these things that we're participating seem like you can't, you can't change them. It's like, it's never going to be about changing the system. That's why when people complain about like Apex or whatever game, and they're like, devs need to fix this, but is it the devs need to fix it, or is it you need to fix your shit? You need to fix your attitude or the way that you're doing something. Because there are definitely cracks in the game. There are definitely glitches. There are definitely, same as the system, there's definitely cracks. But if you spend all your time focusing just on that, that's all you're gonna see, and you're not gonna enjoy anything at all. Do the devs need to fix it, or do you just need to get good, son? Hey, yeah, like what is the actual problem? And sometimes it's an amalgamation of problems. Do the devs need to fix it? Like, I can't complain. I can't complain that the devs need to fix everybody else running around so much. You know? The devs need to fix everybody else hitting their shots. I don't like that. I don't like when people hit their headshots on me. I don't like when a pred team rolls up on me. I don't like that. You should play a different game. Because it's going to happen. But with a glitch, and there's obviously like, you can also hold the two possibilities of like, I'm complaining about this glitch, I'm also having a great time. I also like this game for A, B, and C. I don't like this game for A, B, and C. And you can hold both of those things to be true. You can criticize a thing that you like. That's the cool thing about liking things, is that the more you like them, actually, the more you probably have to say about how to make it better if you care about it. Also, if you're not absorbing it into your identity, which is important, because your identity should never be controlled by something that is external to you. Something like a game or a political ideology or a band or a movie, whatever, director. It should never be contained into other things that are not you. Because you can't control those things. You can only control yourself. But the same way that positioning is everything for your own advantage, it just makes it easier to give modest mouse for life. It just makes it easier when you choose the perspective that's good for you. And the exercise and the thing that I like to do is, okay, if all these terrible things that I'm experiencing are true, then equally all of these other good things that are happening are just as valid as the other things. And that's true for any situation. Like, you gain something, even, and it's like, oh, so shitty and cliche. You gain something even from the bad games that you play. You probably gain more. I get more practice by getting my ass kicked, which sucks. That sucks. I hate getting practice by getting my ass kicked. I want to be good only. I only want to be good, and I don't want to get my ass kicked. But I gain more. I get better. I just get better when I get my ass kicked. So really, unfortunately, I should be grateful. Am I? What day is it? But I should be. But I've been thinking that I personally focus on things that I don't have or something like that, something along those lines. RP that I didn't get, shots that I didn't hit, stuff that technically doesn't even exist. So why am I focusing on it? If you didn't get the RP, you didn't get the RP. It's not even a thing. What RP did you get? What shots did you hit? Did you learn anything? Most of the time, yes. But that's not like fun and spicy. But when you turn her, you were in charge of that. I'm in charge of that. I'm in charge of the way that I drop into a ranked game, TBH. And I was thinking about that yesterday. And I actually think, I don't know who, if anyone here was there watching me rank yesterday, but I think I did a good job. Even though I was like pissed off. I was pissed off by losing. Didn't like that. But I also knew what I was getting into because I had ranked so much in these past 2 years. 2.5 years? Is it like 2.5 years? Is this almost 3 years that this game has been out? Yikes, spikes. I was ranking yesterday. And after 3 years of playing this game, I actually feel like I wasn't that upset. I didn't get that mad. I was able to, with 3 years of practice, chill the fuck out just even a little bit. 3 years? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it came out in February 2019? 2018? 2019. It came out in February of 2019. So this February, it's going to be 3 years. March? February. I think February. You can look it up. Yes. So that's just me recently realizing and working on the fact that I'm in charge of my experience. I'm in charge. I'm in charge of the way I experience something. And what I'm going to do about it. And how I'm going to behave. 2, 4, and 19. Damn. It's an old game. What are you playing that dusty old game for? What, Apex? You still play that? I do. I still play Apex. I'm in charge. I'm in charge of the way that I experience things. And you can also, it's fine if you choose to be a fucking asshole, too. Like, you could, if you, like, I'm tapping out, I'm a fucking asshole today. You're allowed to do that, too. Just so we're clear on that. But knowing that that's something that you're choosing and not something that's being imposed onto you by anyone else. Nobody else is responsible for your experience. Nobody else is responsible for the way you feel. Nobody else is responsible for the way that you respond. Even if they're a dick, you are still responsible for the way that you respond to them. Even if they're a dick. Even if your random's a dick. You look at it as however you want to look at it. And you don't have to give, and that's the other thing, like, I'm not, like, making up a backstory. Sometimes I make up a backstory for my randoms because it makes me feel better. Like, I'm like, maybe they had to take the trash out. Maybe their baby is crying or something. Like, I'll think that because I don't want to think, this person sucks and they hate me. Like, I just don't want to think that all the time. So then I'll make up a sweet little backstory about how their baby's crying or something. And that makes me feel better. I don't even know if it's true. It makes me feel better. But in the same vein, if you're talking to somebody, some random, and I say he, like I know who he is, and that random's like, blah, blah, you're the worst, or whatever. Yeah, they're a dick, and you don't have to be nice to them. You don't have to even like them or whatever. But it's easier. It's always easier in the moment, whatever is easy for you. Hey, C2, what up, Brian? Whatever is easier in the moment for you to do. And sometimes that's just like, I don't have the energy to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm so sorry. Goodbye. You leave. You don't play with them. Like, but it's your choice you can't expect other people. We can't expect other people to be responsible for the experience that we're having. So it's necessary to see all of our options and shift to whichever one is the most beneficial to us at the moment. And that just takes practice. Practice. That just takes practice. Ooh, perspective today. Yes. Yes. And we're in charge. And I like that better. As much as taking responsibility for your own emotions and your experience is kind of like a huge pain in the ass, I do like it better. Because then I can get to work putting my energy where it needs to go and not spend so much time putting my energy into figuring out whose fault it is. Because even if you figure out whose fault it is, that doesn't even mean it'll fix anything. That doesn't even mean you'll feel better. Did you say we're in control of our own experience? I did say that. I did say we are in control of our own experience and how we experience things. I did say that. I will not be playing the game today because I borked my schedule. And I don't have time to do it, which is sad because I did want to troubleshoot like it's a problem. The game's a problem. Playing the game's a problem. I did want to troubleshoot. Kind of go through. I don't know if I was going to drop into a ranked game. It's neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there. But I did want to talk about perspective and how I'm viewing perspective recently. And how it's helpful, even though it's difficult. It's okay if it's difficult. In Apex, what if our teammates make it very difficult rushing, dying, then leaving? How do we make a better experience out of it? It helps me. And each experience is unique. The first thing I do is like needing other people to be different is a waste of my energy. So if I am coming at an experience and then I need people to behave a certain way, I have to shift my mindset entering it. So we all know we're going to get into a game and there's going to be some fucking idiots that we don't like. Everybody, and that's the other thing is like me, when I drop in, I might seem like a fucking idiot to another person that I'm playing with, even though I don't think I suck. I don't think I suck, but I have been the bad, and I say this too, I have been the bad random where I'm doing a bunch of stuff and I'm like, damn, I suck. So, perspective-wise, not needing people to be different and just accepting that, okay, well, this is a game with somebody who sucks that I don't like. They suck. How do you then, because it depends on what you want to do, how do you then enjoy your experience? You just like, fuck it, I'm going wild. I'll carry 2 snipers. I'm going to carry 2 snipers. Let's go. Where are we going? Let them lead. Pick them up. Be their wing. Like, how are you, and it depends on how you're going to make that a good experience. So if that person, because it's different, like, if somebody's like, oh, this person seems inexperienced, I'm going to help them, versus, oh, this person, like, doesn't want to play with me, I'm going to troll them. Like, you can do whatever you want to make your experience better. Because it's not about good or bad. And I don't want to say, like, you know, like, because some people's reaction isn't going to be the same as mine, but I can't judge, you know. Only you could say how to make the experience, but the best way, the true north of how to make an experience better is to, how do I make this fun? Which sucks, because sometimes something is not fun, and I don't want to make it fun, and I don't even want to do it. But the easiest way to do something is, how do I make this fun and enjoyable for me now? And that's also, if you can't make something fun, it's also a good barometer of whether or not you should be doing it at all. Which, you know, doing taxes, we can argue about that. That will always suck forever until we die. But most things you actually decide how you interact with them. So the most true north thing that I try to do, and can't do it super well, but the most true north thing you can do is, how do I make this fun? And it's going to be a different answer, but you have to listen for what you think was fun. So for me, when my teammates being real difficult, I just ignore them until they DC, because if they're rushing by themselves and they're dying, they're leaving, I don't even remember their name. I don't care. Goodbye. I've played games. I've queued in with 2 people. I've played games by myself. Queued in by myself. So it's not that great of a loss then. If they, like, aren't a good teammate, like, I don't have to get upset. I'm not attached to it. But sometimes they stay with you. And they're like, oh. So it depends. It's always going to depend on the moment. But not letting other people affect how you show up and being able to see what is fun about whatever experience you're experiencing, and not making stuff up. You're not making stuff up that's fun. Like, you're not lying about what's fun. Like, yeah, that sucks. When your teammate, like, rushes and dies and then leaves, that sucks. That sucks. But there's also other cool stuff happening. Like, oh, cool, I'm playing a game that I really like. Oh, I got the gun I really wanted. Or, oh, like, there's, like, for as many things that suck, there's also other things that don't suck. And the trick isn't to get things that don't suck to go away. The trick is to train yourself to see so many good things that eventually the things that suck, they kind of even out, or even the good things outweigh the things that suck. Because if you're training your brain to always focus mostly on the things that are enjoyable and to handle the things that suck if they need to be handled, or ignore or not even acknowledge the things that actually suck because them sucking has actually no effect on you and your experience, then eventually you just see a bunch of cool stuff. But sometimes also, yeah, exactly. Sometimes also you're in a bad mood, and that's hard. If you're already in a bad mood and you get on and everything just like grates against your skin like sandpaper, sometimes it's just the fact that you're in a bad mood. And it's harder to shift perspective, which is why it's important to sleep enough and eat enough food and drink enough water. Because if you're hungry or you're tired or you're dehydrated, your little brain, those executive functioning skills go right out the door. And that's my thing. I got to make sure I sleep enough. And I hope you are all making sure that you sleep enough. Sleep's important. It's the most important thing, second to water, to our bodies. Did you know? It truly is. Can't be hangry. Coolest, you took the words right out of my mouth. Can't be hangry. Oh yeah, I never play Apex in a bad mood. I always play in a good mood. I leave in a bad mood. I don't know if you see it, but I believe, and I have seen your perspective shift ever so slightly since we have been hanging out in my stream and in the stream. Always pat yourself on the back for the things, for the little ways in which you feel like you have gotten to somewhere where you want to go. Because even if it's little, if you compare a mindset, I like to compare my mindset from like now, like right now, from like years ago. And I go, wow, dang, I like this one way better. And then I feel way better about where I'm at, rather than, being like, not where I want to be. You will one day, Bri. And even, yeah, and sometimes you will just leave the game in a bad mood. I do that, for sure. 100%. I'll be like, oh, I should have never played this. God. Oh, I hate this game. Why do I play this game? And that's fine, because sometimes it sucks. But also, like, not judging yourself. It's okay if you leave in a bad mood. It's okay. It's all right to be in a bad mood. You get that way, All right. I do have to wrap this up. I wish I could stay longer and play the game, but I had to cut this one short. But I felt it was important to talk about. And I hope y'all had a good time. I hope you are having good games. Hope you're having fun. And I hope if you're not having fun, you do something else to have fun or make it fun. But I believe in you, and I believe in me. And we're going to shift our perspective to the ideal position to win at life and having fun. And I think that's it. That's about it in perspective. Thank you all for attending Best Random Ever episode 10 here on the Trident Network, which is a 3-pronged digital entertainment network that features live shows, film, video content on our YouTube, and a variety of podcasts. Please follow Trident on all of our platforms. We have a lot of podcasts. We have a lot of stuff. It's really good stuff. Also, please go follow me if you don't already. My name's C2. I'm a streamer here on Twitch. I stream Apex Legends and a variety of other games. But Apex Legends is my main game, and that's the one that I reference the most in this show. Please take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves and be kind to each other. Love yourselves and love each other. And I will see you guys tomorrow on my stream on Wednesday. If not, if you're coming back here next Tuesday.